Expect more right now. You're watching Wave 3 News.
And welcome back to Wave 3 News Midday. I'm Chris McGill, right at 11:31 right now. And the national eyes are on Kentucky out of this midday. It is official. Rand Paul is running for president in 2016. The senator made that announcement on his website earlier this morning, and he will soon address a very large crowd at the Galt House in downtown Louisville in about a half an hour. Wave 3 political reporter Theo Keith is live there right now with the latest for us. Theo?
Hi, Chris. Yeah, we are ready to go here at any point. Let me show you the room here. We've got Paul's family, his friends, some of his staff members seated up on the stage. A little bit of breaking news happened just a few minutes ago when the senator's father, Ron Paul, came into the room and took his seat. There was some question about how much Ron Paul would be involved in his son's campaign. Of course, Ron Paul ran for president back in 1988 as a Libertarian and again in 2008 and 2012 as a Republican. He does very well among independents, Libertarian voters, but he does not poll the Republican base so well, and so it's unclear how much of a role he'll have in the campaign going forward. But he is here today, that's for sure, as are about several hundred other people in the crowd. This room here in the Galt House East Tower is almost full, and there are still a few minutes before the program begins.
As you well know, Theo, sometimes in a party you come up against some of your own colleagues who are against you. Senator Lindsey Graham saying yesterday that he's far left of Obama and that he's even beyond lead from behind what they've said about President Obama. So they've attacked Rand Paul on his foreign policy, saying he's too much of a hands-off personality in the GOP. We see this in both parties. Sometimes Elizabeth Warren may be too far to the left for some Democrats. So Rand Paul's got some fighting to do within the GOP.
The strengths that he has, obviously, are the Libertarian section of this party. His father has done tremendous inroads for him on that. And Rand Paul himself has made tremendous inroads with Libertarians. He's made inroads with young voters. He's connected with them. Minority voters as well, bringing some new minority voters into the GOP. But every Republican that I talked to in the past several days as this announcement was imminent says his biggest challenge is with the establishment. It is with every other GOP candidate that's going to be in this race before it's all said and done. There may be 8, 12 of them.
Yes.
They're going to have the establishment votes. Rand Paul will have to work very, very hard to get those.
Yeah, we're waiting Senator Paul to take the stage here. We hope that'll happen here in just a couple of moments, and we'll be back with it for you live as he comes to the stage here on Wave 3 News.
I announce, with God's help, with the help of liberty lovers everywhere, that I am putting myself forward as a candidate for President of the United States of America.
Kentucky Senator Rand Paul jumping into the 2016 presidential race in front of a packed house here in the Galt House in downtown Louisville. Theo, I would say maybe around 1,000 people in here. It's getting a little warm.
Certainly several hundred people, that's for sure. Heard about a 30-minute speech there. Rand Paul never left the podium for the speech. He spoke using a teleprompter for the whole thing. You never heard him mention any of his potential Republican opponents. You never heard him mention Hillary Clinton, as he's apt to do, criticizing Hillary Clinton. Made no mention of that today. Instead, his first words were, "We've come to take the country back." He's got a message loud and clear. You hear that with some of the campaign slogans. You hear that with some of the videos they've produced. He's trying to be a different kind of Republican. He certainly is, and that is going to be his angle moving forward.
And as you can tell, it was a lot of that populist message. I'll repeal on day one that executive order, you know, about looking at cell phone records, and to talk about the Constitution in one hand, the Bill of Rights in the other, and how we need to clutch it. A lot of populist phrases here today, trying to grab people from both parties at this point.
No doubt, and from here, an uphill climb four states in 4 days, starting with New Hampshire, South Carolina, Iowa, and Nevada over the next 4 days, as he truly does kick off a presidential campaign.
And we've got it covered for you starting today on Wave 3 News at 5. Join us then.
A huge story here in Louisville, Rand Paul's campaign launch. He made his announcement in front of about 1,000 supporters and tons of national media today.
Political reporter Theo Keith was there along with me. And Theo, what did you take away from Paul's speech today?
Well, Scott, the theme of his campaign is already obvious. He's running as a Washington outsider despite being a U.S. senator.
I have a message. A message that is loud and clear and does not mince words. We've come to take our country back.
It was the same way Rand Paul launched his bid for U.S. Senate 6 years ago. The libertarian message remains, but can he take it nationwide?
It seems to me that both parties and the entire political system are to blame.
Three Republican candidates for governor, Hal Heiner, Matt Bevin, and James Comer, were here, and at least 2 GOP congressmen, including Brett Guthrie of Bowling Green, Paul's hometown.
I think it's a good day for the Republican Party. I think Rand brings an energy, he brings an excitement. He's reached out since he's been to Washington to groups that don't typically, in large numbers, vote for Republicans, but he doesn't change his message.
Paul's wife Kelly introduced him. Then the senator's 30-minute speech steered clear of divisive social issues. Paul endorsed a balanced budget amendment, pledged not to use the NSA to spy on people's cell phones, and positioned himself as a Washington outsider.
Too often, when Republicans have won, we've squandered our victory by becoming part of the Washington machine. That's not who I am.